I can confirm that my office, on behalf of Dr. Bobby Cruz, did file a grievance against the Commissioner of Education, Alfred Ada, in November 2022. That grievance was based on allegations of sexual harassment. It is still pending in front of the Board of Education, and it has not been resolved.
KUAM learned of those grievances days after the news of Commissioner of Education Dr. Alfred Ada's resignation due to health reasons last week. Dr. Bobby Cruz, a longtime educator whom Hudson represents, is listed on the school system's website as the State Education Agency Project Co-Director under the Office of Student Support Services.
And so the grievance was filed directly with the board. They had then filed an administrative hearing officer who was intended to administer the grievance. And we had a administrative hearing set on the grievance for July 18, 2023. And so we had prepared for that hearing essentially as if it were a trial. We had interviewed and had set to testify several witnesses. Several of those witnesses would have testified as to sexual harassment inflicted on them by Dr. Ada while they were employees at PSS. And so we were looking forward to that hearing and having those witnesses as well as Dr. Cruz testify. About a week before the hearing was supposed to take place, Dr. Ada, through his attorney, filed a motion basically to dismiss himself from the lawsuit, disagreeing with the procedures. And so the administrative hearing officer basically agreed that the procedure was that she should not oversee the case and that it should go back in front of the board. And so that was back in July. And since then, there's nothing on the calendar to administer the grievance.
She says there are at least 5 other witnesses who are willing to share their stories in a public hearing about what happened to them at on and off-campus PSS events dating back to 2003.
We don't want to force people to come to testify. We want them to be comfortable and be okay with being able to tell their stories. And so we did not name them. Some also feared retaliation by PSS. And so we wanted to respect their decisions.
Attorney Hudson communicated with the board this month, asking them to issue a decision on whether or not they've exhausted administrative remedies, which would then allow the case to be brought to court. She says there are no explicit grievance proceedings in regulations for charges against the Commissioner of Education. Meanwhile, she says Ada has not been placed on administrative leave or removed by the board. They also have a pending charge with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. KUAM News went to the commissioner's office Monday afternoon and spoke with him in person just before he was about to begin a meeting. He told KUAM he was busy, and we informed him that we're seeking his comment on an urgent matter, which we emailed him about earlier. Later, a PSS employee informed us that the commissioner would be calling us later. In a separate email, CNMI Board of Education Legal Counsel Tiberius Makanu told us, quote, "The BOE hired an outside, seasoned and knowledgeable hearing officer with a background in labor law to adjudicate a grievance that was filed against Dr. Ada. The persons involved in the grievance are free to talk about the particulars if they so choose, but PSS is bound by confidentiality, which it takes seriously. The status of the grievance will be determined by the same hearing officer, and they will have discretion as to what occurs to it in light of the COE's resignation." On Friday, at an emergency board meeting where Ada's resignation, which takes effect on September 1st, was accepted, we asked the board chair this. Health is his primary reason that he cited for resigning?
Yes.
Are you aware of any other issues that might have led to his resignation?
So far, it's written in his resignation letter, so if there's any other thing that comes up, then we'll get to the bottom of it.
Thomas Manglona, KUAM News, Saipan.